What's going on? Legion Nuda here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Data Gaming XP Grind episode 85. So today we're going to be working on cooking, and the first thing I actually need to do is go ahead and use a cooking potion. I'm going to start in the back, that way I can move forward, and I guess it doesn't really matter if I start to pick it up or not. But basically we didn't do a whole bunch behind the scenes, but we did go back to the Storm-touched Islands, and we were actually killing a bunch more sheep and ram. We went down and shot all the rune essence, so that way we could make sure we're keeping that going, because obviously it's going to be essential in basically making sure that we're going to reach our goal in rune crafting. I think that's actually going to be done before Hollow comes to the game, which is actually quite exciting. It's really what I would like to see happen, and as long as we stay on track, I think it will actually. We actually went to the Storm-touched Islands, or maybe it was the Fractured Plains, and we were actually gathering a bunch of resources there as well. But we are being attacked by a warband, which I pretty much figured was coming since we haven't actually had to interact with them for quite some time. So hopefully we can annihilate these guys in no time at all. Let's go ahead and switch our attack. We don't really use attack a lot anymore, so it's because we've got a lot of XP. I feel really confident with how much we have, and then there should be another wave coming as well. But ultimately, I didn't do an XP update right out at the beginning of the video, and a reason for that is basically because I don't really think there was a lot to basically update anyone on. But there will be, obviously, at the end of this episode, another XP update. I am getting annihilated right here. Oh my goodness. There we go. We are getting just smashed. So let's go ahead and turn the tides here. We need a little bit more energy, and I don't even know if we're going to survive this. We should be okay. Maybe we'll make it with 2 HP. Let's see. There we go. So it looks like we're going to actually be okay. It's so crazy how many come after you, and for the most part, normally we're actually fine. But these are all going to be individuals. It looks like I won't be able to use those. And our cooking potion is still active. Let's see if we can't find something over here that's not being used, and that way we can get these going as well. Let's see. I believe that's going to be it, pretty much. So all these are going to be working and doing their thing. We'll put the food in here. I'd hate to mix things like that, but obviously it's a lot right now. I've got lots of different things mixed up, so I'm not quite sure. I went around and shot down all the essence. We've got some bodies over here. I wonder what's basically inside those bodies. Who knows? We've got 2 wolves here. We kind of came here to kill more sheep and ram and get a little bit more food resources while we wait for that other food to cook. This is pretty much, for the most part, what we can actually work on right now in the game. But once, oh my gosh, once range comes to the game, I think it's really going to open up a lot more doors to what we're going to be working on when the range is here. Obviously, we're going to be working on range. But I think it's just going to be a lot more fun to do that. And then also, looks like I forgot to get these ones. I did forget to teleport here. But obviously, Hollow is going to open up incredible doorways for all the interesting and cool things that are going to be coming to the game. And then obviously, switch up the content that we focus on quite heavily in the game while we play. So, we don't have a lot more essence to shoot. I think it's just this that we missed. And I also talked a little bit last episode about how basically once we have 1,000,000 runecrafting XP, we're going to be pulling up all of our lodestones. And the reason for this is because we're going to need a lot of lodestones for Hollow. Obviously, the game map that they're going to be adding is going to be 2.5 times the size of what we currently got now. So it's safe to say that, especially because it's going to become extremely dangerous there. So it's not going to be like here where you can sort of roam around and sometimes run into things. I think it's actually going to be really dangerous. And we want to make sure that we've got plenty of lodestones so we can run around and do what we're going to need to do in the game. We're probably going to be dying at just an incredible rate. We're going to be roaming around quite a bit. So I think that means we're going to need a lot of food and a lot of water and beverage things that are going to basically be fueling us. But luckily for us, we've actually got such a big stockpile of all that because we've been grinding in a game. So it's not something we're going to have to delay with, as well as other things. Anything else that we might need potentially to work on certain things. I guess, for example, would potentially be when farming comes to the game. You're going to have to probably have ash logs for the beginning stages of farming. And then obviously you're going to need to use oak potentially for maybe higher level plants. I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but we've got a ridiculous amount of ash logs sort of stockpiled. So I don't really think that's going to be something that we even have to worry about. That's actually quite nice that we've set ourselves up in that way. So we don't really have to worry about it. It's not even going to be something that we even really, I think about. It's more so go to the bank, grab what you need, and get back to what you're doing, which is an amazing thing. It's always unfortunate, potentially, when you're doing a quest. I guess more so in the other RuneScape, when you're doing a quest and you need an item and you potentially don't have it, or you don't have the resources to make it, so you've sort of got to start teleporting to all these different places to find what you need. And obviously this is quite different. It's not the same sort of game, but in the same regard, anything that we potentially might need in the game, we're going to have it. So I think that's going to be an amazing thing that we're not going to have to worry about. Borderlands 4 is going to be coming out later this month as well. I'm sort of contemplating whether or not I want to basically do some sort of style of video like I do with this, or I sort of spend once a day playing the game, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really played a lot of Borderlands. I think it would be fun, though, to basically work on some sort of completionist for it. I know they've got lots of achievements in the game, and I think it could be a lot of fun. I also know some people who play Borderlands, so that could be interesting as well. I really hope they've done a good job with range. It'll be fun to use the crossbow. That's for sure. That's going to be something new. Should I kill these sheep and ram? They're right here. I might as well. It's my luck, though, that there would be some bad guys right here just sort of waiting for me. I guess we're going to have to wait and find out. Here we go. It looks like there's a lot of stuff on the bone structures over there. I'm not quite sure what that is. If I had to take a guess, I'd probably say that it's animal bones and different things like that from animals that I killed and just sort of left it there. I hate how dark it gets here. It's very tricky when you're trying to navigate out here, as well as what's in front of you. It's so crazy. There was a problem with my graphics card the other day, and the graphics in the swamp were completely different. And it was actually really cool. I thought they did it for Fell Hollow. It somehow was over the whole game, and they were trying to make changes to maybe potentially make the graphics look cooler in that update early on. But it just seemed it was a problem with my graphics card. But I was able to see in a swamp so much easier, and it made it a lot more better to navigate. So I was actually really excited if that was their plan, but it turns out it was actually just a glitch with my graphics card. So it's not the case. But either way, it's really not that bad either way. We don't really have to spend a lot of time in a swamp. I know one of the new areas that are going to be in a game is actually a sort of a swamp. It seems from what they've kind of described. So I think that's going to be quite interesting to see how all that develops. This is a new area that I'm actually going to start going to get rune essence. And unfortunately, there is a little bit of delay when I load in, and I'm not entirely sure why. But it's usually not too long, but still a wait. But it's not that bad. I'm just trying to find more ways to basically get essence. Sorry, I'm trying to put more lodestones, so that way I can actually achieve all this a lot faster and reach our goal. It's going to actually feel overwhelmingly amazing once I actually achieve 1,000,000 rune crafting XP. I think it's probably going to be the most fulfilling skill in which that I've got to that, I guess, high of amount of XP.
so much food on the ground. I don't think it's quite time yet, though. I'm not going to pick it up quite yet. But while we're here, we might as well put a little bit of stuff in this here because it looks like our inventory is getting full. And then we would just have to open up our storage chest. So to avoid all that, let's just go ahead and put all this in here. But you see, what's happening now is I'm basically doing the same thing. And why that makes it easier is because I no longer have to have just this incredible amount of random resources that I've got. So it makes it a lot easier when it goes to organize all my chests. Everything is sort of makes sense and it's the same. And that's just going to be a lot easier for organization overall. It's so weird now that I've actually put this lodestone here. It seems like these animals that I used to see quite often down here, they don't quite spawn down here as much anymore. I'm not sure why that is. But I remember when I first found that cave down there and there's all that iron. It was so cool to finally be able to mine iron. I mean, those little things like that in a game, when you're finally able to mine a new ore, I guess the best way to describe it is back in the other RuneScape 3, when you finally achieved a level and you were able to do mine something new, it was such a huge sense of accomplishment. And I think the crazy part about it is once you were actually able to mine runite ore in the old RuneScape, right, it didn't matter because essentially there were already other people who could do it, and they actually had it timed out to the minute. So when you went to get it, they sort of already got it. You could sit there and world hop all you want. It did not matter because they were already on it before you, and they had it timed out to perfection. Sort of reminds me of Albion Online. Once I actually had the ability to sort of start mining new things, there were other people who sort of were running in loops, and they all sort of knew when it was going to be there. So it made it a little bit unfun. Sometimes you might get one or two that they hadn't quite got back to. Maybe they went to go eat dinner, had to get off the game really quick. Not quite sure. But for the most part, even though you were able to do something really cool and it was new, you didn't really get to partake in it the way you exactly wanted to because basically other people were mass collecting it. And obviously part of the reason for that is because it was very valuable. So MMOs are really fun, but I think it changes the dynamic. Instead of you basically being able to enjoy the experience of the game in one way, you sort of had to play a different way because other people sort of changed the market of the game and controlled prices and things like that. Whereas with this game, you're sort of able to experience it in your own personal way. Did I accidentally put something wrong in there? I thought I saw meat. No, okay. So let's go ahead and put this here. So we've already got quite a bit more resources for cooking that we can work on later. Let's go ahead and take a cooking potion here. Put our potions back. All right, we already took one. And let's get some cooking XP here. It's been quite some time, I feel like, since we've really worked on cooking. That's quite a bit. There we go. That's quite a bit of XP, plus we got a little bit earlier. So I think instead of just basically being lazy with it, I think we're just going to go put it all where it needs to go right now to eliminate basically getting in a situation where we get overwhelmed and can no longer keep up with keeping it organized. I don't think that that's a smart idea. I think we need to stay with it and basically just keep doing the right thing. I think when you start doing the wrong thing, it just makes it a lot harder later on. So let's go ahead and put this in here. I don't know the grilled mushrooms. I feel like I might have actually made one for it. I don't remember. We're going to have to pull some of this out. We actually took too much out. There's a flank steak. What's this? Raw game meat. That's why it didn't work. Grilled mushrooms. I guess we'll just put them in there. I could have swore I made a chest. Is this it? This is it right here, actually. So let's pull this back out. Put it in there. And then we are going to go over here. And put this in here. And, you know, just for fun. Just for the fun of it. We're going to grab those cabbages. And then put them in here. I mean, although it's fun and sort of therapeutic to run around here and collect all these cabbages and red berries and things like that, honestly, it doesn't really give that much XP. So that's why we don't really do that anymore. I feel like these aren't really a good source of XP for cooking. Those deer are, but there's so many of them. Maybe like if we had a scatter shot, once range comes to the game more fully, then it would be worth it to kill all those deer. Maybe we have a way to kill them in a group like that, or at least a little bit easier rather than chasing them all down. So anyway, let's go over an XP update really quick. So we've got 308,702 attack XP, woodcutting sitting at 1,001,583, construction 2,011,273, rune crafting 726,239 XP, magic 114,504, mining 4,128,112, artisan 4,094,557, and cooking 285,261. So we're slowly getting there, and we already knew that this was going to be a more of a progression. This is not going to be something that just sort of pops up and happens. And the things that we're working towards, like cooking, it takes an exceptional amount of time. Rune crafting takes time. And as far as our attack styles, I believe that, I don't know, I feel like I'm accomplished with where I'm at. I'd like it to be further along, but I guess that's just going to take time. It's a very slow thing to level up. And attack is 308,000. I'm good with that. That's why I've been working on magic, honestly. And I'll be working on range and magic off and on. I'm not really concerned with working on attack anymore right now. Obviously, it's not a million. I don't think it'll ever be a million. If I'm going to be quite honest, attack will never be 1 million. Maybe, I guess, down the road if creatures start giving an insane amount of XP. But for the most part, I'm just going to go with the progression trying to get to level 99. So whatever that means is what it means. But basically, guys, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and there's more to come, as always. And hopefully you're enjoying your time playing the game. And until next time, Legion Luda out.